What is Google's misrepresentation policy? Let's dig into it. I'm going to explain it to you and give you some tips, some recommendations about how to comply with it, not violate it, or if you have been accused of violating it by Google, of helping to fix that misrepresentation suspension. And for context, my name is John from StubGroup. We are the #1 resource in the world for fixing Google suspensions and helping advertisers comply with Google's policies. So let's dig in. So first of all, the misrepresentation policy is specifically for Google Merchant Centers. Google Merchant Center is required for running shopping ads, the shopping component, performance max campaigns, etc. And if you're flagged for misrepresentation, Google says that this is an egregious violation and your account will stay suspended unless you are able to successfully appeal that suspension. I'll also say that the vast majority of clients who hire us for fixing Merchant Center suspensions have been flagged for misrepresentation. Misrepresentation is by far the #1 policy reason that Google gives for those suspensions. And it's an umbrella policy that covers a wide variety of things. I'm going to read through or show you some of the things that are on this page. I'm not going to read the entire page to you. You certainly should go do that if you're dealing with this, but I'll give you some examples and some feedback along the way. So first of all, you've got unacceptable business practices. Now, it's confusing because Google also has Google Ads policies related to ad accounts that are also called unacceptable business practices. And it's easy when you're kind of flipping through the different policy pages on Google to get mixed up between the two. But this is a subcategory here under Google's misrepresentation policies. And it's common sense things that you shouldn't do, like scamming users, pretending that you have an affiliation with a brand that you don't have, impersonating brands, presenting false identities, just obvious things that you shouldn't be doing. So if you're doing those things, don't do them. But it's also not uncommon for there to be discrepancies or inconsistencies on your website that make Google think you're doing these things. So for example, let's say you are a franchisee and you're using the franchisor's name and logo on your website. Google might see that and say, hey, you are pretending to be the franchisor. And so you want to do things like putting your franchise ID on your website and making it really clear that you're authorized and what your relationship is with the franchisor. Just one example. Other things would be, charging customers for products that are typically available for free, claiming to be a certified reseller of goods when you're not actually certified, et cetera, et cetera. Things that would be problematic. And again, the way that you can try and make sure Google doesn't flag you for these things is to be very, very clear on your website, to add disclaimers, to explicitly spell out what your relationship is or isn't with the brands that you're mentioning, things like that, to try and help Google understand what you do and what you're claiming and what you don't do and what you're not claiming. So super, super important. Other categories that you could get flagged for would be misleading or unrealistic offers. So any kind of false claims on your website, false offers, if you're saying you get free shipping and you don't, miracle cures for medical issues, things like that would fall under this policy as well. Another thing would be omitting relevant information. So a lot of businesses, they won't have a contact page on their website with their actual contact information. That's a problem that makes you look sketchy in Google's eyes. You can also do things like adding an About Us page to your website with a lot of detailed information about who you are, where you came from, who's involved with the company. Those are types of things that can really increase your credibility in Google's eyes and help clear up potential misrepresentation issues. Unavailable offers, if you have products that you're saying are in stock in your merchant center, but they're not actually in stock, or promoting, a deal, a sale that's no longer active, things like that are a problem as well. And those are the only subcategories that Google gives here. But in our experience, there's a lot of other issues as well that can cause misrepresentation. So again, it's things like not having the right policy pages on your website. It could be things like having placeholder text on your website that you haven't removed, or placeholders on your policy pages. It could be mismatches between your shipping and returns policies in your merchant center and what you have on your website, or mismatches between what you have on those pages on your website and maybe an FAQ page or the actual information you display on your checkout page. There are so many areas that it can go wrong. But essentially, if you've been flagged for misrepresentation, go watch the video that we made about how to fix misrepresentation suspension, but really just look across your website, across your merchant center, across your online footprint in general for anything that's wrong, that's inconsistent, that's not there, that should be there, and fix those things. And that's going to increase the likelihood that you can fix your suspension. And if you'd like to bring some experts in to do this work on your behalf, we'd love to help. Reach out through StubGroup.com and let's talk.